What is the TANCET?
The TANCET is an entrance exam conducted by Anna University for admission to its MBA programs at Anna University, its affiliated colleges, Madras University and its affiliated colleges. The TANCET is an exam that lasts for 2 hours within which you have to answer about 100 questions. So you have 120 minutes in order to answer a total of 100 questions.
The sections in the test.
The TANCET has a total of 5 sections in the test. There are 3 sections that are English or verbal based and 2 sections that are mathematics or quant based. The first section is called business situation analysis. In this section, you will be given a case study followed by 10 statements. Now, based on your understanding of the case study, you have to classify the 10 statements into one of 5 categories. Is the statement an objective of the business? Is the statement a factor affecting the business decision? Is the statement an assumption made by the business decision makers, or is the statement completely unimportant to the entire discussion? There are a total of 2 case studies, each having 10 statements. So you have a total of 20 business situation analysis questions to answer. The second section is called reading comprehension. This is very like the reading comprehension passages that you'd have done in school or in college. You're given a passage from any random topic. It could be a passage from business, culture, science or environment. And from the topic, from the passage, you have 10 questions that you have to answer. Again, there are 2 passages totaling up to 20 questions in this section. The third section is the first of our math-based sections. You are given 20 questions from any topic from arithmetic, algebra and geometry. There are a total of 20 different topics that you would have to prepare for. Topics as simple as a percentages profit loss or as complicated as a trigonometry, cogeometry or a permutation probability. From these different 20 topics, you would be given 20 questions. This is your straightforward math question. You have to solve the question, find the value that you are asked for and then pick that from one of the 5 answer options that you have been given. The fourth section is called data sufficiency. This is again another math-based section. In this section, it's not the typical question where you are asked to solve a problem and then arrive at the answer. In this section, all that you have to do is determine whether an answer can be found out for the question. You don't have to actually sit and solve the question. Just determine whether or not there is sufficient information to answer the question. That's why the section is called data sufficiency. The fifth and the final section, as we are back to verbal, is an English-based section. In this section, you're given 20 sentences with various parts of the sentences underlined. You have to identify which part of the sentence has a grammar error in it. So you need to have your basics of English grammar in place in order to be able to answer this section effectively. So that's 20 questions in each section, totaling up to 100 questions that you have to answer in the 120 minutes given.
Why prepare for the TANCET?
A lot of people might think, this is 9th standard and 10th standard maths. This is passages and grammar that I've already learnt in school. Why should I prepare separately for this particular examination? Why can't I just go and write the test based on whatever I have learnt in school? There are 2 problems with that. One, we don't remember what we learnt in school. It was so long ago, and because we were so oriented towards getting that mark in that examination, that we didn't really learn in school in order to remember it for our entire lifetime. So what we learned is probably something that you've already forgotten. Can you tell me that you actually remember what you learned in 9th standard and 10th standard? I didn't when I started preparing for this examination. Second, this is not like your regular examination that you did in school where step marks were important. You solved a question step by step in order to ensure that you got the maximum possible marks even if you made a mistake and ended up with the wrong answer. In this test, time is of very, very important value to you. You have to answer 100 questions in 120 minutes. which means you don't even have 1.5 minutes per question. If you sat and read a passage completely, or if you sat and solved a math question completely, step by step, then it means you will not have time to complete the paper. So what you should do is remember the same concepts that you learnt in school, but approach the questions in an entirely different manner. You have to solve the questions in such a way that you are able to answer a question in about 1.5 minutes. Even if you take only 1.5 minutes per question, you will be able to answer only about 80 questions of the total 100. But 80 is good enough. If you have a good accuracy, it means you might end up being a state topper, or you might even get an admission in Anna University. So your target is to answer just 80 of the 100 questions. You're not aiming for answering 100 on 100 questions. But to even do that, you have to change your entire way of thinking. You have been processing information in a particular fashion, which you have to completely change in order to get the right approach. Remember that there is negative marking in the test. If you get an answer wrong, then 1/5 of the mark will get deducted, and you don't want that. You can't do an inky pinky fonky and randomly mark answers for 100 questions, hoping that you will end up with the maximum mark. It doesn't work that way.
Application procedure.
The test notification will be announced in January, and then in February, for a period of 2 weeks, application forms would be available in 14 cities in Tamil Nadu. If you are not in Tamil Nadu, or if you are unable to visit the application center, you can also download the form online at the Anna University website. During these 2 weeks, you have to submit your application form. Usually, if you go directly to the center, then they take a passport size photograph of you right then and there. You fill, submit the application form, pay the amount entrance fee by DD, and they will immediately issue you a hall ticket. So it's a 2 to 3 hour process. Ensure that you have enough time on the particular day, visit the center and get the process done. The test will then be conducted in the last week of March. Till 2011, the test was conducted in May, and the entire process used to start only in April. From 2012, the test is on the last week of March, and the process starts in February itself. The MBA test will typically be on the first half of a Saturday. So the last Saturday morning session would be the TANCET MBA test. Afternoon session would be the TANCET MCA test, and on Sunday would be the ME, MTech and MArch test. So if you are planning to apply for both the MBA and the MCA test, then you have that option available. You just have to write 2 tests on the same day. After the test is written in March, the results will typically be announced sometime in the last week of April, or maybe even in early May. After the results are announced, you will be able to see your score online at the Anna University website, but the official rank list will be announced only in June. Why will the rank list be announced only in June? In April, Anna University would be opening its forms for application to the counseling procedure. Please remember that applying to the TANCET does not mean you are applying to Anna University. You have to submit a separate application asking to attend the Anna University counseling. You have to submit one more application if you want to attend the other colleges counseling. So the affiliated colleges counseling will happen in GCT Coimbatore, and in order to apply for that, it's a separate form. You have to apply separately again for Madras University and again for its affiliated colleges. So when your TANCET application form is just one form for the entire test, irrespective of which school you're applying to, when it comes down to your counseling, please ensure that you're submitting the respective forms for the respective programs. After the forms are submitted, Anna University will collate the forms and see who wants to apply where, and then they will issue separate rank lists. There will be one rank list issued for Anna University counseling and one rank list issued for Anna University affiliated counseling, which is why, because the forms for counseling is available only from April, that the rank list will be available only in the first week of June. As soon as the rank list is published, you will receive letters informing you to attend the counseling on a particular day depending on what rank you have secured. And then you go to the counseling, you choose the school that you want to attend, which will happen in the final week of June. Your MBA program will start in July. So remember to look out for 2 different rank lists, and remember that within each rank list, you will have an overall rank and a community rank. If you are not in Tamil Nadu, irrespective of what community you belong to, you will be applying only under the open category. You will not be eligible for any of the quotas that they offer for the other communities.